Good morning, good evening, everyone. Erev Tov. Mitzvah Samech Aleph. Mitzvah number 61 is Ladun Bedin Mefateh. Obligation for Bedin to judge the law of the seducer. Kelomar Mishe Pita Vetula, someone who seduced a young woman, meaning Vetula is a virgin, a woman who has never been with a man. Okay. We have to judge him according to what's written in the Torah. Shneimar, v'chi yefate ish betula. A man shall seduce a maiden, then he has to provide her with a marriage contract. Basically, he has to marry her, and then if her father refuses to give her to him, he has to weigh out some silver. Ve'inyana pituihu, the meaning of seduction, is sheomer la devarim shel sheker o shel emed ad shemitratza elav. He tells her things, either true or false, to win her consent, ad shemitatza elav, and then she yields to him. Shoresh hadin yadua. The purpose of this mitzvah is well known to everyone. We don't seduce women. And he says over here that the fine is 50 shekalim. That's what the Torah tells us. So, ve'al titma kan. Don't wonder here. Biot kol kevuda bat belech penima. That this, we have the pasuk that says kol kevuda bat melech penima, which means the honor of a princess is within. That humiliation caused by dishonoring a girl, nimkeret laboel b'chamishim kesef, would be sold for 50 shekel. Ben ashira ben aniya, whether she is wealthy or poor. Ashe'ena knas rak demei hana'at shechiva bilvad. The fine of 50 shekels that the Torah gives us is not the payment for humiliation, but rather it's a payment for the satisfaction that he got of lying with her and nothing else. There is an additional payment of boshet, of humiliation, that is dependent on how the girl, like if she's from a wealthy family or she's not from a wealthy family, and if he was a person of low class, then the humiliation price goes up. What? Well, if she's still under the father's home, then the father would probably get it, yes.
If they don't get married.
Yes.
If they get married, he doesn't have to pay 50.
He might still have to pay 50. I'm not quite sure the law. I think he still has to pay the 50. But mitzad acher, there's an additional aspect. Hayav hashochev ota latet boshet ubgam. That's what we said. The guy who lay with her is obligated to give a separate compensation for humiliation and depreciation. Obviously, depreciation, the value of a betula, is not the same as the value of a non-virgin. You see that in the ketubah, right? You write a ketubah. When you write a ketubah for someone who was not married before, the amounts are higher than the ketubah for someone who was married. Lefi chusa v'chashivuta, and also the amounts are determined based on her prominence and lineage. V'chol mitzvot Hashem emunah, and all the commandments of Hashem are just. Dinei mitzvah, the laws of this mitzvah include Katav Rambam Zal, what the Rambam writes, Shebekol ir becheskat pitui, that whenever the incident occurs in a city, it's assumed, meaning a populated area, then it's cheskat pitui. It's assumed to be an act of seduction and not forced. Unless that there were witnesses that testify that there was a forced violation of the girl. But whenever the incident occurs in a field, then we assume that she was forced, meaning raped. And the rabbis also said that the marriage of this seduced maiden depends on the agreement of the father, the daughter, and the seducer. So they each have a right to refuse to go ahead with the marriage. Even though the pasuk only speaks about the father, but all three have a right to refuse. V'im kenasa en sham knas. There's the answer. So if he does not marry her, then there's no obligation for him to pay the fine. So I was mistaken. Alright, so if he marries, no fine. V'din kohen gadol shepita o anas. Also, what is the law with regards to a kohen gadol who seduced or violated a girl? Because a kohen gadol is not allowed to marry someone who is not a virgin at the time of the marriage. So he does not have the option of marrying a girl that he might have seduced. So he always has to pay the fine. Bedin knas benivala kedarka, also with the fine imposed where it was case of regular relations, Okay, meaning not sodomy. Uzmana knas, and at the time of the fine, eno ela mishalosh shanim al shetibager. It's only when she from the age of 3 to a bogeret, which is the age of 12 and a half. Okay, 12 and a half. So what's the law over there? Umash katuv le'avia, and what's written is that the fine is paid to her father. Dafka le'avia is paid only to her father. Aval en la'av en din knas alea. She does not have a father, then there's no fine that is paid. The pitui midatahu, for the act that was performed through seduction, is done with her consent. Masha'en kan be'ones, which is not the case if it was a forcible violation, like a rape. In that case, she would retain the fine. We will talk about it later on in Mitzvah 557. We're only on 61. Okay?
An alcoholic or a drug addict, does that have any effect here on what he owes?
Yes, it would just increase the humiliation of it. Ve'anashim she'en lahem knas, and the women for whom there is no fine, ve'eser, of which there are 10. There are 10 women that will not get a fine. Ve'yete pratea, the remaining details of this mitzvah, mevoarim beperek shlishi u'revi'im miktuvot, are found in the 3rd and 4th chapters of the ketuvot. V'noeged b'chol makom she'esh bedin simuchin. This applies every time we have a bedin of ordained judges. She'en danin dinei knasot ela b'smuchin. We cannot adjudicate laws of fines unless you have ordained judges. Ve'over alea v'lo asa din bazeh bitel aseh. And someone who doesn't do so has violated a mitzvah obligation. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akasha Omer.